When? Last year. It should have. All right, 5.3. Today we are going to talk about slope, intercept, form. Yeah, you have. Slope, intercept, form. Actually, what slope, intercept, form is, it's a form of a linear equation, or the form of an equation of a line that has the slope and y-intercept. Now, we've talked about what slope is, right? We know that slope is your rise over run. It's how quickly your line is increasing or decreasing. We haven't really talked about the y-intercept yet. Who can tell me what the y-intercept is? Okay, that's all right. Try and you think you know? You're close. You're very, very close. What do you think it is, Remington?
Where the line crosses the y, the graph.
Yes. Okay. So your y-intercept is the point where the line crosses the y-axis. All right, so if I have a graph, and on this graph, right, this point where the line crosses the y-axis, this is considered the y-intercept. Crosses the y-axis. That makes sense, right? Now, when I say slope-intercept form, it is always in the same form. Very similar to direct variation, except it doesn't go through the origin. It might go somewhere else. It might go through somewhere else on the y-axis. So, it is always in the form y equals mx plus b. You're close. Yeah. Y equals mx plus b. This is slope-intercept form, where our m is our slope, and the b is where it crosses the y-axis, but it's going to be in a point. So b is where it crosses the y-axis, and we're going to write the y-intercept as a point, 0b. Any questions so far? Okay. All right, if we have no questions, then we're going to go with example number 1.
I just remember the equation, that's all.
Okay. Okay.
Explain it all.
So hopefully we can get a better understanding of it, right? So in example number 1, this is what I'm going to ask you to do for 8 through 14 today. I want you to find the slope and y-intercept. And I'm going to give you the equation. Let's say I have y equals 2/3 x plus 7. That's your equation. Oh, first thing I need is the slope. Remember, your slope is the m. So m equals what? 2/3. Perfect. 2/3. The next thing we need is the y-intercept, which is the point 0 and whatever our b value is here, which is 7. That's all you have to do. Well, it gets a little harder, but that's what you have to do on the first 4. Let's do another one. I'm going to draw a little line right here. Let's say I have y equals 7x minus 2. Again, I need to know what my slope is. M equals, this is y equals mx plus b, 7. So m equals 7. My y-intercept, or my b, is the point 0. And in this case, -2. Exactly. Very good. Do another one quickly. What if I have y equals -1/2 x? -1/2 x. My slope is -1/2. What's my y-intercept? 0. So it's the point 0, 0, which makes sense because what actually is that? It's the origin, and this is a direct variation equation, right? Bless you. Okay? So do we have any questions how to pull out the slope and the y-intercept? That's good? All right. Let's go to example number 2. Example number 2, this is what I'm going to ask you to do for 16 through 20. I want you to write an equation of the line in slope-intercept form so when I say slope-intercept form, that's at y equals mx plus b, given that your slope is 3/4 and your y-intercept. Now, this is what I want to clarify. In your book's old. Your book is old school. So in your book, it's just going to say b equals 5. However, it should say 0, 5. Your book is just old. Okay? So now we're going to write our equation. We start with y equals our m. So 3/4 x plus our b. Boom, done. That's all you got to do. Let's do another one in that example. Okay? If I tell you your slope is -5/8 and your y-intercept, again, I'm going to write it on every worksheet as a point because that's what it should be written as. Unfortunately, your book still goes b equals -4. All right, so we're going to write this as y equals mx plus b. So here we go. Y equals m, -5/8 x plus b, -4. So I want to clarify, you can put plus -4 or you can just put -4. Either way, it doesn't matter, it's the same thing, right? Any questions here? Are we all doing okay? Okay, as long as we're all doing good. Example number 3. Now, I'm going to skip a couple problems very quickly. I'll come back to them in a minute. So I'm going to jump down to 28. Jump down to that one. I want you to write an equation for the line in slope, intercept form. Given the points, let's say one point is 0, 9, and your second point is 3, -2. So in order to write it in slope-intercept form, we have to have the slope. Do we have that right now? Can we find that? Okay, and we have to have the y-intercept. Do we have that right now? We do. We do have the y-intercept. If you look at that first point, this first point is the y-intercept. But we got to find our slope before we can write our equation. So, to remind you, this is my x1, y1. This is my x2, y2. And now we do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Here we go. Y2, which number is y2? Negative 2 minus y1, what number is that? 9 over x2. 3 minus x1. Where's x1, Jackson? All right. So top line, negative 2 minus 9 is negative 11. 3 minus 0 is 3. So our slope is negative 11 over 3. So we're going to write our equation. Oops, I went a little too far there. Here we go. Y equals m. And again, m means what? So negative 11 over 3x plus b. What's our b? 9. Perfect. Any questions? Huh? Well, I'm going to talk about graphing yet, but we're like most of the way through the lesson. All right, I want to talk about graphing. When we graph from slope-intercept form, you need to find two things. So you're going to pull out of the equation, you need to find the slope and the y-intercept and the 0b, okay? We need those two things in order to graph it, which means if I'm actually going to have a graph, I can write an equation from the graph if I have those two things, correct? Right? All right, so I'm going to have you go ahead and for our next example, or example number, I don't know what I'm on, 4. For example number 4, go ahead and put your first sticky in there. And remember, it's y to the sky and x on the right. This is example 4. So your y should be up here and your x should be over here. All right, I'm going to have you make a graph for me on here, and then we're going to write the equation for it. So, first point I want you to plot is plot the point, negative 3, 1, so right here. And then let's plot the point 0, 5, and connect your dots. All right. So, for example number 4, this is what you have to do for 22 through 26. 22 through 26. Write the equation in y equals mx plus b. In order to write it in mx plus b, we need two things. We need m, and we need our y-intercept. Our y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. So what is that point? 0, 5. That is our y-intercept. We've got to find our slope. We find our slope like we did yesterday. You start at the leftmost point. So starting here, we're going to count. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I rise up 4, and I run over 1, 2, 3. So I have a slope of 4 over 3. So let's write our equation. Y equals m, which is 4 over 3x, plus our y-intercept of 5. Perfect. Let's do one more on the same graph. We can handle it. So plot the point, how about negative 1, negative 1, and 0, negative 4. Connect your dots. Yep, on the same graph. It's okay. All right. So again, the two things we need are slope and y-intercept. We have the y-intercept. What is this point again? 0 what? -4. Good. Now we're going to find our slope. So we go to the left point and count down to the right point. So we start here at the left. We count down 1, 2, 3, and we run over 1. So our slope is 3/1. How else can I write that? Yeah, negative, thank you. Just as -3. Sorry, I lost my negative. All right, so we have a slope of -3, and we have a y-intercept at -4, or 0, -4. Here's our equation. Y equals -3x minus 4. Well, that is it. Any questions so far? All right, then let's talk about the last two problems. So example number 5, put your last sticky in there for me. All right, this will be 32 through 34. Graph. And here's what we need to graph. We are going to graph y equals -3/5x plus 2. All right, so in that equation, we need two things. We need the slope, and we need the y-intercept. Our slope is what, you guys? Yep, -3/5. Our y-intercept is what point? 0 what? 2. Good. All right, so to graph this, super important. You guys ready? To graph it, plot the y-intercept first. So plot 0, 2. So 0, 2, right here on the y-axis. Then, from that y-intercept, we're going to do our slope. So what does our slope tell us to do first? Nope. Rise over run. Down 3. There we go. So we're going to go down 1, 2, 3, and we always run to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Connect my dots. Let's do one more. One more. Same graph. Let's say I have the equation y equals 2x minus 6. All right, so again, my slope is 2, which is actually 2 over what? Good. My y-intercept is the point 0, -6. So we start by plotting the y-intercept. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right here I put my dot. Now from my dot, I even still have my pencil on it, I'm going to do my slope. My slope is 2/1, which means I rise up 2 and I run 1 to the right. Connect my dots. Questions? No questions? We're all good? Awesome. Okay, so you'll notice our assignment over on the board. It says page 312, number 8 through 34 even. Omit number 30. Omit means to leave out. Do not do. Okay? Okay.